Alright, this is the game in Inquisition, back and this time with a double review for you. Today we are covering Mass Effect 1 and 2.
Both good games in their own right, yes.
Both very good games.
We'll start off with Mass Effect 1, as the way you should, first one in the series. We'll start off with the first mission. You're sent in to be tested for this Black Ops type.
A Spectre. And no, that's not where I chose my gamer tag. Okay, just to clarify. Anyway, in this first mission, the mentor, the guy who's supposed to be judging you, who's supposed to be all this super secret Black Ops agent,
Gets capped in the head by one of his friends.
You're not gonna put a cap in my ass, are you?
I'm not going to put anything in your ass.
What a relief.
Moving on. It turns out that the guy who caps him is the main villain throughout the game.
Who would have guessed? The guy who kills his friend is the villain.
Well, until the very end when you find out who the real villain is behind it.
Spoiler alert.
Anyway.
Stop that, Tyler. We locked you in a closet because you don't like this game. Hide.
Tyler does not like this game, which is why he is not here. But, good storyline, I have to say. After it's got very dramatic, you want to go to the next mission. Main story's great, not a lot of side missions, though. You have a massive universe, not a lot of...
And like the real universe, most of those planets have nothing on it, maybe a crashed probe.
Which you have to drive around the whole planet to find.
In a hard-to-control tank car.
I didn't like that part. I actually avoided exploring the universe because of that. But the main story is what kept my attention, along with how you can choose your dialogue. I liked that. But I also liked how the whole story's kicked off with a massive alien information stick shooting memories into the main character's mind.
Because advanced alien civilizations utilize data sticks.
Giant data sticks.
About as big as a tree.
Yeah. And then you have to chase after the guy that capped his friend through the galaxy with no backing from the council, who are just bureaucratic assholes.
You just pick up whatever bums you can find along the way.
A lot of them are well-armed bums, but they're not your stereotypical
bums with guns. But of course,
that would be an amazing game. Coming next fall, but bums with guns. And then your story escalates. You have to find Saren, which is the capping guy's name. And he is a Taurian. If you've played the games, you know they're the scaly-like lizard people.
Green lizard grasshopper guy.
He's a grasshopper. But so is your mentor. So, and you chase him across these planets, and you pick up the people while you're on the planets. I like that because I like the mission debriefing at the end when it talked about what you did in that mission. I always played the nice guy. I freed the Rachni, but I did tend to blow up the mine. I used the mining laser, which I think you had to do. I didn't know if there was any other way. But and when I chose a girlfriend, I chose the alien woman. Blue, not green. This is not Star Trek.
The tentacle head girl. Didn't know you were into that. You like you some calamari.
Yeah. But
one big thing about Mass Effect, the dialogue options.
Were either good or bad.
You can select from a dialogue wheel. You can do neutral. Sometimes if you're really good or bad, it'll have a special option that'll actually do something other than just get a different response.
But there's no gray. It's either you're an asshole or you're the perfect guy in the world.
Universe,
or you're just ugh.
And don't forget the one thing that Tyler hates most about this game. He hates it so much that it clouded him to hate the rest of it. The elevators.
Elevator rides. The 10-minute elevator rides.
They masked the loading screens behind elevators. You won't see very many loading screens. You might see a few, but most of them are hidden inside elevators.
It gave your people time to talk. I mean,
you hear the news, something relevant to what you did,
which may start.
People will talk.
It also may start a side quest from one of the few.
A few of the side quests are triggered by random elevator rides, so you can't go through the whole game without getting that side quest, which is annoying because they're randomly triggered.
And we're going to move on to DLCs now. Oh, your favorite.
DLCs. Okay, BioWare released 2 DLCs for Mass Effect. They made Bring Down the Sky, which was an extra side mission that you could get a whole lot of good gear, a lot of good stuff, a lot of experience. It's about basically some aliens that you hadn't seen before in this game, even though they reference them. And they're like terrorists who really hate humans, and they try to crash a moon into a human colony. You gotta, well, no, it was an asteroid, but you gotta stop them. That one was good. It was a real polished mission.
I didn't
play
either of them, so.
It was one of the most polished missions in the game, honestly.
The other
Pinnacle Station, it was a shooting gallery, try to beat your high score type thing. I didn't like it.
Well, and the hating the humans thing he talked about, and the choices you make in the first game really do affect the second game, which we're going to move on to now.
Because your choices, they do nothing in the first game, and you think they're never going to do anything, but they really do reflect in Mass Effect 2.
They affect what people say to you, the news that you hear, certain missions.
The way missions work out, not if you get them or not, but how they kind of resolve themselves. How everybody views you, how all the species view each other.
And one thing I learned, sadly, when I started Mass Effect 2, it turns out it was probably the best thing to do was to save the council, even though they were bureaucratic assholes. So
save the bureaucratic assholes who did nothing but whine at you, that like they were all xenophobic aliens who hated humans. But anyway,
I had to go back and play Mass Effect 1 all the way through so I could do all the little changes and make Mass Effect 2 universe what I wanted to make it.
Just the whole game changes really depending on your views from 1.
And
which is why I recommend getting 1 and playing it and importing your character to the second one, simply because the default situation for it when you start a new game in 2 just sucks. Honestly, it sucks. Play 1, if only just so that you can play 2 in a better game.
And I have to say, the universe in 2 feels more alive. The planets you're on feel more alive.
The characters pull you in. The planets are better.
And I like how they changed it. The fighting, I mean. It was better. It was more worked out in 2.
1 was an RPG with first-person shooter elements.
And 2 was a first-person shooter with
RPG elements.
Well, not really first-person, third, right?
Well, over the shoulder.
Unless you zoomed in.
Over the shoulder, third-person shooter. Kind of a la Gears of War. Chest-high walls abound.
And I liked it because each person had their own little side quest loyalty mission that affected the end. And the reason I say that is because I went all the way through the game and I had everyone survive the final suicide mission except for Tali. Made me so mad because I was so drawn into the characters that were in this game that I went back and played it all again. I was planning to anyways. But I went back and played it all again just so she would survive. Little did I know I had another person die. So I'm playing it through for my 3rd time, trying to make sure they all survive.
But you become attached to some of your characters. I say some because some are
Zed and Kasumi.
The DLC team members.
But their missions are amazing, aren't they?
Their missions are awesome, even though you don't get drawn to the characters.
Except for Kasumi's little weakness when it comes to her husband or boyfriend's last letter or whatever in that hologram.
But her boyfriend looked like one of those randomly generated people.
Probably was.
It doesn't look good. Well, anyway, moving on. Everybody's got the unique powers. It's a first-person shooter with RPG elements.
And on harder difficulties, you'll need to play a split up a Vanguard or a Sentinel.
You'll need somebody with powers, because everybody's got armor, everybody's got shields. I'm playing it on Insanity right now, and it is insane. But, anyway, back to the point. They got rid of the elevators. They got rid of the elevators in 2.
And that was a good thing. Fun of the elevators from 1. There's two instances that I know of with Garrison Tally when you're riding in an elevator once, and Miranda when you're on her loyalty mission.
But yeah, they make fun of how people hated the elevator rides.
And I think that's
also they got rid of the exploration in the car.
And I like that. I liked how you went on and you went to where you wanted to, where you needed to.
There's more DLC though, because people did miss a vehicle period where they gave you a hover tank. That's what you should have had in 1.
Yes.
A hover tank.
Except for that Mako that was like a car on steroids, really.
Yeah.
They kept flipping over, and I didn't like how you'd be driving and a random thresher maul would come shooting up from the ground. And
you only see the thresher maul once in 2.
Yes.
Because you hate those things in 1.
And you fight them.
In 2, it's a boss fight as it should have been.
And it's a good boss fight. I liked it. It is Grunt's loyalty mission where he becomes Bergnaut Grunt.
All of the sorry to cut you off there, but all the characters grow. You're more attached to them in 2. Yes, I'm apologizing now. Anyway, all the characters grow. Even the characters that were in 1 that move on to 2, you can see they changed. They developed. You become aware of their real characters. Just about you get drawn in. I mean, the story's better in 2.
I really hated the elusive man.
But you're supposed to. He's a jackass.
I know, there's probably some jackasses out there that liked him. Like, hey, that's me.
Well, hey, he's a smooth jackass. I mean, he's a smooth asshole. If you're evil, you might like him. But
really,
that's one thing.
What is it with assholes with you?
You're the one pointing it out.
Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to say Mass Effect 1. I recommend buy it. Play it and then buy Mass Effect 2 and play it 10 times. Because it never gets old.
1 is good, 2 is great.
Improvement in all directions in Mass Effect 2.
Everywhere. Except for the planets game, but they had to do something.
Yeah, which I thought getting the resources was an innovative thing if I didn't have to sit there and scan
You
the
have to do
planet.
it too much.
If you could like look at a planet and get the resources from it without having to do that bar and check for it.
Well, Mass Effect 2, great game. BioWare is really backing it up with DLC. There's a new thing every month.
So in conclusion,
get 2. Get it,
2.
No excuse. You have to get 1 if you want a better game in 2.
So hit our tagline.
Alright, well, no game escapes the Inquisition.